Hey guys, Coach Keith Keppner here. Going to go through Terrence Crawford's press conference right after the fight, and it's pretty good. Good things to garner from if you are a fighter or boxing coach or someone just really into boxing. Not if you're just a boxing fanboy, though. This is not for you. My name is Coach Keith Keppner, professional amateur boxing coach for 15 plus years, taking many people from complete zero and brought them to elite levels. My father's a professional boxing coach as well, and he was mentored as a coach and as a fighter by Chuck Bodak, who I teach the lineage of as well. And Bodak was worked with over 50 world champions, and he was the Olympic coach for Muhammad Ali. All right, let's get into it. Obviously, great fight. And some people that don't know much about boxing are acting like it's boring. It definitely wasn't a boring fight at all. It was not a Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, which was still a fine fight. Just wasn't as great and as exciting as this one. But Terrence is the epitome of obviously a great fighter because of his accomplishment with this fight. Now, of course, with every single fight, it's all about who you're fighting and everything else. But let's get into the interview. I got a little bit on fast speed.
Hey, Terrence, congratulations. Magnificent performance tonight. Seemed like the first 3 rounds you were trying to just figure them out. Was that the game plan and start turning it up maybe in round 4?
Well, the first 3 rounds, I felt like I was in control. I think he was trying to figure me out.
Definitely, I saw that as well, that he established control right off the get-go. If you watch in that very first round, what did Terrence do? He was the first one to punch, to establish the jab. And the person that typically jabs first with opposite stance fighters is going to have a little bit of an upper hand.
Did you feel that you were frustrating him? He tried to lift you up. He headbutted you. Were you sensing that you were frustrating him?
Of course. He was a little frustrated in there, but that's part of the game.
And
I don't think the headbutt was intentional. Obviously, the lift up was. But it's one of those macho moves that you use energy on and whatever, but there's no advantage to it at all. And with the headbutt, that was completely, from what I could see, accidental. He did put his head in there, but it wasn't a very clear, purposeful headbutt at all. And I would say the best exemplification of Canelo getting frustrated was how Canelo was walking off, like kind of disengaging in the fight at times, which he does do.
Next question is that I know it's right after the fight. Have you feel yet the significance of this win and what it means in your legacy and your career?
To be honest, when I set my sights on doing something and I know what I'm capable of, it's not like a surprise to me. It's a surprise to y'all because y'all didn't believe me.
That's a big note. That is a very big note. With every athlete I've worked with that has a wrinkle or a piece of greatness in them, this is how they feel about winning. If they feel like, let's take his words again, exactly what he said.
It's not like a surprise to me.
It's not a surprise to him, right? That's well said, well said. And I know for myself, when I've performed, whether it's races or in boxing or whatever, when I prepared properly and did everything and everything was done right and I did what I was supposed to do, it's like, well, I did what I was supposed to do. And that's the mindset that you need to have, not this thing about, oh, I got lucky. That is the wrong mindset and not the mindset of someone who's going to be winning and winning consistently.
Surprise to y'all because y'all didn't believe me, but for me, I knew I could do it, and I believed that I could do it. I just needed the opportunity.
Terrence, when did you know that you were going to beat him? Over here on your left.
When he signed the contract.
That's well said. When did he know he was going to beat him? With a guy at this level, at his level, you're not questioning yourself. You don't agree to it and still have questions if you're going to do it. You have that Terrence is one of the guys that has that really solid mindset, and that is the perfect example of it right there. That there's not a doubt in his mind. Doesn't mean he's cocky. Doesn't mean he's arrogant. He still prepares like he could lose, because he could lose if he doesn't prepare. But when he does everything right and when he's locked in, and he knows that when I do everything right, when I'm locked in, I 100% am going to win. And when I sign the contract, I'm going to win because I'm going to do those things. He's already done that so many times, he provides that evidence to himself.
He seemed to focus mostly on body punches, and you were hitting him in that a lot. Was it your reach that gave you the advantage?
It was everything. He wasn't hitting the body or anything. He was hitting my elbow because I was blocking it. But
yep, so often with the commentators, Canelo would hit the elbows and the arms, and they would act like it hit. Absolutely did not hit. Not saying that no body shots got through. There were a couple, I think, straighter shots that got through, but just a couple.
You know, I think I was the better man tonight.
What was that moment where you were
But one problem is with people that don't really know boxing at a higher level, they think these shots land, and they don't.
pushed aside by the ring, and they suspended they called a timeout for a second, and then started the fight again in the middle? I think it was the seventh inning.
Well, I got headbutted. I got cut. I got to go get stitches. You didn't see it?
No.
Oh, yeah. He headbutted me. So I got to.
What the hell? Who the hell is this guy, right? Asking this dumb question. You didn't see the fight?
Go get stitches after this.
The perfect example of how all these people, not all these, but so many of these guys that are asking these questions, they don't know nothing. They know nothing about boxing.
Hey, bud.
To the point they don't even watch the fight, I guess.
Straight back. Right here.
What's up, Dan?
Congratulations on the victory. I want to ask you a little bit about the history that you made tonight, and I want your opinion on which means the most to you. You became a 5-division world champion. You became the 3rd 4-division lineal champion with Mayweather and Pacquiao. You became a 3-time.
That's the thing. So with new definitions comes new titles, right? With new categories comes new, oh, you're a 4-time whatever, this, that, and the other thing. And again, it's one of those things where it becomes technically correct. It's technically correct that, 4-time champ, but this, that, the other thing, right? Or first undisputed super middleweight champion, all that stuff. It's technically correct. But if you kind of see it from my eyes, and I see it from the eyes of my father, who, he's no longer with us, but he grew up in the 60s where there were only 8 weight classes. So you go from maybe you go forward 30, 40 years, and now they're not only have all the weight classes we have now, but maybe they have ones in between those weight classes as an additional, so they can make more title fights. That's why they added those weight classes, so they could do more title fights for the promoters, for the sanctioning bodies, and they're going to make more money that way too. And also market pay-per-view fights. This is a title fight for all these different classes. And you get a chance to build this hype. And again, I'm not saying that Terrence is just hype. Great, fighter. Goes down in the history books. Besides the new definitions of stuff. But when you maybe go in the future and now there's not, the guy that is a 4-division champion nowadays, maybe in the future when they splice it up even more, if boxing were to keep going the way it had gone or has gone, now it's 8. Now you got, the first 8-division world champion, right? All that stuff like that. And then more, then it becomes 16, whatever, right? So it's just, that's an important thing to remember, guys.
I'm undisputed champion, the first ever in the 2, 3, or 4 belt era, and you became the 2nd undisputed champion in 3 weight classes when there was only 1 champion back in 1938 with Henry Armstrong. That's a lot of stuff.
You hear that? You hear that?
With 2nd undisputed champion in 3 weight classes when there was only 1 champion back in 1938 with Henry Armstrong. That's a lot of stuff.
You hear that? You hear that?
Yeah. So again, what he did is definitely on par with Armstrong because of Armstrong going up from lightweight all the way up to middleweight and not winning that middleweight fight, which a lot of people thought Armstrong won against Crawford and Garcia, but I believe it was a draw.
Which do you think means the most?
And all of it. It all goes hand in hand.
Can you describe what it all means to you to have? You just made like a whole resume of stuff tonight.
It means a lot to me because, anybody can be a nobody. Like I said, and that's all they say I've been fighting is nobodies. So what can they say now? Somebody tell me, what can you say now?
And say congratulations.
That's it.
People can always say something, but absolutely, I don't think anyone could say anything now. But everyone had so much to say before. Oh, Canelo's fought the better competition, this, that, and the other thing. If you know how the styles match up and if you know Canelo's flaws, you had a feeling this was happening. Now, again, anything could happen, and I wasn't willing to bet the house that freaking Terrence would win. But, it was definitely leaning that way.
Hey, what can you say? Any words?
Thanks.
I bet you did.
But I want to ask you one other thing about that.
Terrence.
A lot of the conversation about the fight was you moving up 2 weight divisions. I wonder if you could describe, once you got in there, how did it feel in terms of fighting at that weight? And
To be clear, moving up 2 weight divisions, so he fought 154 right in his last fight, and they moved up from 160 to 168. Whereas back in the old times, there wasn't even one at 154, so it would have been 47. So you actually moved up maybe technically 0 or maybe 1, but whatever. Anyway, it's still a great thing. I'm not trying to rain on the
The
parade.
bulk that Canelo tried to put upon you.
I was stronger, I punched harder, and that was just it. You know, a lot of people put too much into me moving
fought
up
him
in
too.
weight and things like that. But like I told y'all once before, Canelo is not a big guy. You know, he's a smaller guy fighting in a big weight class.
That's the thing, is that one of my boxers trained around Terrence and in his gym and whatnot in Colorado. And so he's been around it, but I haven't been around Terrence and I haven't been around Canelo. And for people that are in the media, that are in the universe of boxing, that have been around both of these guys side by side, this should have been a way more obvious note. But again, to build up the hype and the drama, and then just one person says it and then everyone runs with it about the size difference. But people in the know, I'm sure some people did say this, but it just shows, in my opinion, the lack or the ignorance of so many boxing people that are the media side of boxing.
You know, me and him is practically almost the same height. I'm a little taller. My arms longer than him. You know, he got a little wider frame, but he's a little shorter. But all in all, you know, we're around the same size. So by y'all saying, oh, Canelo's this massive size, it was kind of like disrespect. Then when y'all see me weigh in, then y'all say, oh, well, they not the same. It's not a big difference.
All right, and lastly then, what was his power like? Have you been hit by anybody that strong before?
I've been hit harder.
No, in a real fight, not a
In
sparring.
a real fight. Not Avanesian, but Mean Machine hit harder than Canelo to me, to be honest.
Terrence,
Congratulations.
Terrence, right here in front. Congratulations on a historic accomplishment. Would you consider this your signature win of your career, or is there another win that means more to you?
No, for sure, this is definitely a signature win. You know, moving up 2 weight classes, being the B-side, fighting
the
a
B-side,
guy that's
definitely.
been undefeated in the division, undisputed, going to take all his titles, you know, doing everything that I said I was going to do. You know, of course this means a lot. You know, my other undisputed runs, you know, I had titles and things like that, so I was coming in as a champion as well. But this one, you know, I was coming in as an underdog, no championship belts, you know, and I felt like everything was on the line.
At any point, did you feel you had to make adjustments in the ring?
Well, you know, around like the 6th round, I felt like I needed to step it up a little more and, you know, get in more control of the fight because the fight was going like seesaw effect.
Great point here by Crawford. Again, that's the thing of having that mindset when you're in a fight with all that pressure that you're under, to have an idea of the flow of the fight and how it's going. So often, you know, you guys will attest that have actually fought. A lot of times you don't have an idea of that. So, but you can develop an idea of that. I mean, not everybody can, but I believe you can get better at it. And the ability to understand that, and that's what I was feeling watching that fight was, man, I felt like he was in control, but it was very easy for it to kind of go back and forth and for it to fall off the rails. And I was worried that he was going to maybe try to do too little to get to the end, to the decision. But no, he put on the gas. He felt like it was a little bit too much back and forth, seesaw, like he says, and then he put a little bit more on it. And that's what that's where it was a true example of actual boxing, of not running, but of boxing. He fought in spots, fought very hard in spots, was in the pocket in spots, moved, used his bicycle here and there. That's real boxing. And it inspired me a lot. And I hope it inspires you too, because this is the beautiful, sweet science. Not just the guy that's just moving and playing tag. He didn't just play tag. He fought, but he boxed.
And when you were announced as the winner, you went down on one knee. Could you just describe how that moment felt to you and what was going on through your mind?
No,
I was so happy they didn't.
I knew I won. When the last bell were on, I knew I won, you know. But like I said before, God don't make no mistakes, and it's no mistake that, you know, I'm here for a reason. And I've been telling y'all that all week, that it's God's plan, not my plan. I just, you know, carried out his mission.
Terrence, when we spoke on Tuesday, you talked about a lot about your preparation and how confident you would, in leading up to this, and how you would break this fight down and how it was going to go. Did it go exactly to plan? as you prepared for this for the last couple of months? Was it each round, did it go as planned?
Of course, everything
Seems like mostly it did, besides the
that we
headbutt.
set
Maybe.
our sights on to do in the fight, we executed it. I wanted to do a little more, but my coaches wanted me to keep doing what I was doing that was working. So I had to make sure that I was disciplined and keep doing what was working.
A great temperament for a fighter to want to do a little bit more and to have your coaches or your coach pull you back just a little bit. The inverse of that is absolutely not what you want at all. I can tell you that from a coach perspective. You don't want to be the guy, or you don't want to have the guy, you coaches out there, you tell me what you think, that you got to push to try to get them to freaking do something. Not that you can't make that happen, but much rather have that guy you pull back a little bit because he's going to do a little bit too much. That's great. That's what we want, because he can pull back a little bit, and then you can let him go after him a little bit, pull him back, because that's the championship mindset and spirit.
And then I know you said you weren't surprised, obviously, in how you dominated, but was there any surprise that as the fight went on, he typically feeds off those later rounds and builds momentum, but it appeared that he got more frustrated and weaker maybe, or less conditioned? Did that surprise you at all?
I don't think he was less conditioned or anything. I just think I was the better man. I think you're not giving him enough credit, and you're trying to take things away from him. He was 1,000% prepared. I just think I was the better man.
Yeah, he's 100% prepared. And if anything, he gassed out a lot more in later rounds and other fights when he was younger. He's learned how to pace himself more. But I remember hearing, I think, Chris Algieri talk about it on the Pro Box TV, where, in his opinion, Canelo's never really fought a whole 3 minutes of any round. And it's kind of true. So that's an interesting thought.
But so much goes on behind the scenes that we never get to see. The long nights of preparation, sticking with the same team through adversity, and many years of preparation.
That's the thing. He's had the same team ever since he started. That's solid, man. That's how success
When you
happens.
look into the faces of your team after achieving this win, how do you feel looking at all these people that have helped you carry yourself to success?
Oh, I feel great, because they've been doubted just like me. When people doubt me, they doubt my team. They think my team can't, take me to where I want to go because.
That's a big common misnomer. People think, oh, who has that coached before? Who has that, team worked with before? Prior success is an indicator of future success, but is not a guarantor. And specifically with an individualized sport like boxing, generally, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, the team that got you up to a certain level is going to be the one that's going to take you and keep you going to the level upon level, because they got you to that first level or second or third because it worked. So stay with that, and as long as they're growing it and developing with you, that's success right there. Because at the end of the day, you want people behind you can trust, number one. All right? Competency then is number two, but trust is number one.
They don't have the recognition of being in a big city and have this big following. But, a lot of great fighters.
Location,
coming through
very true.
Are stable, and, they paving the way, for the next generation. And, I'm the forefront, and we ain't doing nothing but making history.
Terrence, was this fight about proving them all wrong or proving yourself right?
Both. Prove the doubters wrong and prove myself right. Like I said, it's a lot of disappointed people, going home tonight. And some of them gonna cry, like I said, but it's part of the sport.
And lastly, I asked you at the press conference the other day, what was your definition of greatness? It came full circle for you by claiming the throne. Now, what is your definition of greatness to you?
You're looking at them.
Congratulations. The whole team.
Terrence, congratulations on your victory. With the way you beat Canelo tonight, Spence a couple of years ago, everyone is going to start making comparisons with your legacy to Floyd Mayweather. How do you feel you compare with Floyd with the resume you have now?
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
That's a great.
You talk the talk and you sure walk the walk. Your confidence and aura is on another level. Could we see a run as a light heavyweight?
Nah, we ain't going up that much.
Now, would you consider going back down to 154 and face Geron as the guy who prepared Canelo Alvarez for this fight?
Nope. I ain't going down 154.
Terrence, obviously it was a great show today. I was curious about your entrance, how you came to choose that song in particular to walk out to.
Well,
All right. Anyway, that was the big things that I want to note on from the interview. Watch my kind of immediate recap after the fight. I think I'm going to go through and also do a fight study on it. Just have to make sure I can do one that's not going to get completely flagged and copyright striked and whatever, even if when I run it as demonetized, because I would put it up as like maybe a members only thing, or maybe I'll do it and upload it on the Patreon page. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a great day or night whenever you're seeing this, and watch out for the next video.